out so
Oh,
strong.
I
First three
know.
episodes, third place finish. What is the energy like running in the front of the pack versus the back of the pack?
Oh, it's so much better being in the front. You're
First
high,
class versus coach.
right? You're energetic. You're like, okay, we got this. Back, you're constantly stressed.
Mm.
It's just a different dynamic. It's terrible.
No wiggle room. None.
Mm-hmm. And in this leg in particular, we see some navigation issues, but we also see maybe some struggling at the throwing. Was there any one thing that just kind of messed up the day, or was it a combination?
I would say the nail on our coffin, the navigation. These things were spread out all over the city. Um, it took us. We should have rode the bike. I'll say that we should have rode the bike. Um, but the Bolero thing and then the switching, those are small. But the totality of it was the navigation just absolutely killed us.
See, for me, it was we picked the wrong thing to do. We
Mm.
should have stuck to what we know. Riding bikes. We have a Peloton, we have bikes, we're very familiar with it. And even though, when we got to the Bolero, there was a team there, but then, when we, couldn't quite get it, it was like, all right, time to switch to go do something that we know how to do. So I think the combination for me, I think was, we did something that we said that we wouldn't do. We said we weren't going to switch detours. We did that. We're going to, pick something that we know. We didn't do that. So for me, I think the combination of those two things were our demise.
So because the first few legs you didn't have to drive yourself, but then now we're driving yourself. Did that change the energy a little bit?
No, we drove the first leg in Puerto Vallarta. We drove, so that
A little
was
bit.
we drove.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was so. I mean, but Derek can probably explain it better with the cinquenta. Remember how to
Oh,
say that?
Shalisa, she's in the back calling out streets, and I hear what she's saying, but it's not translating what I'm seeing. So, like, I just an example. I can't remember the street names, but she said like, "Hey, you're gonna turn right on Cinquenta Avenue or Cinquenta Boulevard." So I'm looking for like an S Cinquenta, and
Hmm.
not necessarily a C. So that was problematic. And her head's down, so she
And my
can't
head is
tell.
down.
Yeah.
Normally if we're on the road driving, I'm like, okay, your exit's coming up. You may not
Uh-huh.
want to miss it. But my head is down trying to get to the next street or, so as I'm calling them out, I'm not looking up to see that he's past the street that I've already called out. And by
Right.
the time I look up and we're lost, and then we got to get more directions. So, just that we probably could have greatly improved in that area.
Right. And the language barrier,
Oh,
right?
that
It's
was
Yeah.
just tough.
yeah. It's the little things. It's like stay on this street, the second curve. I don't understand that in Spanish, but those are the little things that put us back.
And
But
then when you're getting, directions from the locals, you're used to people, speaking multiple languages, one being English. But when they don't speak, they only speak one language or another dialect, and you're just like, okay, what? You're
Yeah.
just like, well, can you write it down? And then, when then you're trying to look at their phone, because you can look at their phone as well, but that's in another
that's in
language as
Spanish too,
well.
right?
So I'm looking for, Google Translator, trying to figure out how to swap it to English. And it did not work.
That's a lot. Did you guys even get to do either the meat or the fingerprinting detour?
No, we're so bummed, being prior law enforcement. Back in the day, that's what we did the fingerprinting with powder. So when we saw it, we were like on television, we are like, oh man, we would have killed that one.
Right. And I just wanted to see it. It looked so cool.
I
I
know.
just realized today doing these interviews that this mega lake, if we'd have done it right, was set up for us. All we had to do was ride the bike
Mm.
and then fingerprint, and you wouldn't be talking to us right now.
Oh.
It's like it was meant to be. We overplayed our hand,
Yeah,
overthought it.
overthought it.
Well, what is it like to stand on the mat and have Phil tell you you're eliminated?
It's depressing. It's sad. It's terrible. I mean, when we came in last the leg before, there's still a little hope, but then you're like, okay. And then when he tells you you're last or not, not last, but you're not the last team to get eliminated, you're like, oh, there's a glimmer of hope. But on this leg, we knew. When you get that last envelope, when you don't see anyone around, when you don't make it to, well, at the time we didn't know that there was another thing to do after the soccer, but once they kind of tell you, yeah, all the teams have checked in, so it's time to go to the mat,
right?
Which was great because at least we didn't get embarrassed by having Phil come and get us. Yeah. So hey.
Well, I'm sure you guys prepared for the race, but once you get on it, it's got to be, a little different than you prepared for. Was there anything that surprised you about running the race?
To me, so, we watched, the previous seasons, and it's different when Phil's telling you what to expect. Oh, they need to do this, and that. So when you're watching it, you're like, oh, they couldn't get that. Like, how did they not figure that out? Well, being and doing it live it's completely different. It is like, it's more challenging than I ever imagined. And, and I apologize for talking trash about the previous, seasons. Like, oh my gosh, these people can't figure anything out. But now I know why. when you're in the moment, when you're stressed, when there's time element, you're trying not to be last or get eliminated, it just, piles up. And then if you're doing something that you're unfamiliar with, it's like, oh, it just all just adds up to disaster.
Was there a highlight or a favorite moment or leg?
I really enjoyed the paragliding. That was cool.
That was awesome.
And after the same episode, after we climbed the rock when we were in the boat, Colombia, when I was able to, this was the one and only time I was able to sit down and just relax and take in the beauty and just relax as a tourist, until I saw Juan and Shane's boat just, first it's like a dot behind us. And then it's like, that thing is catching up. It's like, what the heck? And then it's like, oh my God, it's their boat. So then all of a sudden you go from vacation mode to race mode again.
Yeah, they pop you out of race mode, out of your vacation mode real quick. Because we were like, oh, look, we climbed all those stairs. Look at us. We're so proud. And then we're looking back and it's like, what is that? Oh, that's a boat. Oh, that boat's coming fast. We're like, hurry up. I'm like, trying to get our boat to go faster, not knowing that, Juan had told his driver, I'm from Colombia, I can't be last. So they just, kicked it up another notch and passed us. But well, that leg, it ended up working out okay for us. I think we still, came in third. But just from going from, oh, we finally get to look at something, to, oh, the stress of back racing, just like that.
You guys mentioned that this is the start of your retirement, which seems pretty phenomenal. This is quite the way to start. What was this whole experience like for you guys to do together?
It's funny, you go to work every day. You got something going on, and then you retire. Then it's just like an moment. And then when our niece talked us into applying for the show, then it's like something else to look forward to. We have to do another Zoom video. We have to do this. We have to go all the requirements to get on the show. Then this worry about, are we going to get selected? Things like, oh man, we got selected. Then you're like, well, what do we have to look forward to? So that was months of prep work and anticipation. And then it's like, okay, now we're on the show. Then it's like stress again. We can't be the first team eliminated. And then, you're going through that. And now it's like this. Now we have another badge of honor. We're like, you know what? We're retired. We were selected to go on the Amazing Race. We did embarrass ourselves. We didn't win it, but we got to experience that. So I think that's a good little badge of honor.
Yeah, and we did something that we never imagined that we would do. And like he said, and we didn't get bounced first, especially in Mexico. I'm like, we go to Mexico all the time. We live in California. This will be terrible to get bounced 3 hours from home. Like, no, we definitely. And then, so for me, I think the enjoyment was getting that first mega leg, or because it started off as a mega leg. So just getting that first crossing the mat, checked off was exhilarating. It was an amazing feeling. And it
Pretty
was like, man, we're here. We made it. We did it. We didn't kill each other.
And
We're good.
and then Phil killed me. Keep racing. I was like, oh my God. Tiring.
And we were tired. You know, I mean, the other contestants, they're like our children. They're our kids' age. So, I mean, even though we're in shape, it still comes to a point where, you know, you're going to tire out a little faster than someone half your age. So,
yeah, you're like, when do I get a nap?
Yeah.
Well, what's it been like to watch with your family? Have your grandkids watched with you?
Yes, we had a
premiere
party. We had all the friends and family and nieces and nephews, grandkids around. So that was fun. You know, they really enjoyed that. You know, and it's funny. We've traveled. We've gone to DC and people recognized us there. She plays golf in these tournaments and people recognize her. So it's kind of cool. We're like little mini celebrities. It was kind of cute. It's something never really expected. You know, it was kind of fun.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was so fun to watch you guys.
Thank you.